Welcome back, golf enthusiasts. James and I are back this week to tell you more about the TPI training program available at Mississauga Golf and Country Club. Last week, we told you a little bit about ourselves and about the TPI programs. This week, we'd like to show you a couple of the level 1 evaluation items that we would use in order to identify your strengths and weaknesses. We can then tailor a program specifically to your individual needs. James will act as my client for this demonstration. Keep in mind that James is a very accomplished player and not necessarily an example of a typical client.
So today, Kathy's going to be evaluating my thoracic mobility, my hip mobility, and my balance. All three are very key for good golf swings. So we'll see how we do.
In testing James's thoracic mobility, what I would do is ask him to take a typical golf posture with, in this case, a 6-iron, and he would take his normal stance, having as neutral a spine as possible. Then what would happen is I would take this club away and I would ask him to cross his arms over his shoulders, over his chest. What I would ask him to do at that point is to make a shoulder turn in both directions, so a backswing and a follow through. You'll notice that James has quite an easy time doing that, which would be typical of a very accomplished player like he is. Now, some players might have more of a challenge, and I would notice that they were very limited in their shoulder turn that they were able to generate. What I would do at that point is I would come in behind and I would stabilize his hips for him and ask him to perform the same test. If he has no difficulty doing that when I'm holding his hips, I would know that he has a stability problem, not a mobility problem, and that the problem really is that he's unable to keep the hips quiet while the upper body generates force. To evaluate James's hip mobility, what I would ask him to do is once again take his golf posture with the 6-iron, and I would take away the golf club. I would at this point ask him to cross his arms over his chest again, only unlike the previous test, I would now ask him to try to turn the hips right and left. So backswing and follow through. You'll notice that James has quite an easy time doing that once again. If he was having a challenge doing that, what I would do is either from the front or the back, it really makes no difference, I could stabilize his shoulders for him and I would ask him to perform that test. If he has no difficulty doing that when I'm stabilizing his shoulders, I would know that he has a stability problem, not necessarily a mobility problem. The last evaluation test that we're going to show you is the balance test. We're going to use James once again to demonstrate this. Obviously, we would do this on the right leg and the left leg, but for purposes of this video, we're just going to show you the one side. So what I would get James to do is take a posture so that he's feeling really tall through the torso, and then I would ask him to raise one leg up so that his thigh is parallel to the floor. His arms are still at his side. When he feels ready and stable, I would tell him to just close his eyes, and then I would start to time him. James would be able to hold this for a substantial amount of time, probably quite close to what the tour pros would do, which is well over 25 seconds.
How did I do, Kathy?
You're a superstar, James.
If you'd like to learn more about the TPI programs here at Mississauga, you can contact myself or Kathy or Tracy Martino, our fitness director. We are all here to help you on the road to better golf.